So this is about reading deeper. So as I was reading through the readings for the Easter Vigil, I know this is the second video I've made on those readings, a lot more stood out this time because I've had more scripture classes. I finished my master's degree in theology, and so I'm seeing a lot of the foreshadowing of Jesus in the Old Testament, which before I just didn't really pick up on. Like, for example, when God tells Abraham that all nations on earth will be blessed through your descendants, he's specifically talking about Jesus, that's where the worldwide blessing will come in. Or in Isaiah, Isaiah's prophesying to the exiles that when they come back, God's going to restore the city, he'll restore the gates, and he'll actually set precious stones in the gates and in the roads and everything like that, which is a foreshadowing of heaven. That's how the book of Revelation describes the heavenly city, the heavenly Jerusalem. And before, I didn't really pick up on those sort of things, but I do now. So because I understand it more, I catch more. So I'm able to appreciate scripture at a deeper level and pray with it at a deeper level. And the funny thing with that is, it's not like had like a different set of readings. It's the same exact words as before, but I caught more this time. Before, I didn't realize I was even missing out, but I do now. And the same can be said of other fields, like food, music, art, that kind of thing, that people can, through practice, develop a certain appreciation that everyone else doesn't have. And so, if someone is a really good cook, they'll be able to spot, oh, you use this spice, or here's the substitution you used, or art appreciating. I don't know. I don't really know art all that well, but appreciating certain parts of that, or music, because most people would say like, oh, that sounds nice, but other people could see, well, here's this thing that was really awesome. And I do want to emphasize that both groups, whether the refined, I'm appreciating it at a deeper level, or the normal group, both groups enjoy it. Both groups are fully satisfied, and that'll be it. Which connects to heaven. So in heaven, we know from 1 Corinthians 3, for example, that what we are doing on earth, we're building on the foundation that's Jesus. So if you don't have Jesus, you don't have the foundation. And then what you do builds upon that. So it could be wood, hay, straw, it could be precious stones, and that the judgment, fire comes through and discloses the content of your works, and the gold, precious stones, etc. remains. So that's an allusion to that in heaven there's different degrees. Not like it's necessarily like levels like this, like Dante imagines. It could be, I don't know. But based on our capacity to receive God's love, we receive more or less of that. So, we're still fully full, we're still fully satisfied, but some are more so. But the earlier ones don't know that they're missing out on anything because they are still fully satisfied. An image that I've heard used for that, a thimble full of water, a bucket full of water, a bathtub full of water, and the ocean are all full. But obviously, some of them have more water than the others. Another way of thinking about it, I really liked this, is like two people looking at the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Both are fully satisfied by the artwork, but someone who's more trained will be appreciating it on a deeper level and be more fully satisfied. And the other guy doesn't know he's missing anything because he is still fully satisfied. So same thing in heaven, our capacity to receive God's love, which we train here on earth by responding to God's love. There's just different capacities. So I thought it was like a really cool thing looking at scripture and how we can both look at the same exact text, but one can be a deeper level than another. So I'm going to do a bit of a tangent now. It is related to reading scripture at a deeper level, not as much to the heaven part of it. When we read the Bible correctly, it makes a lot more sense. And so I'm going to illustrate that with one passage. And I thought this was really cool. When it wasn't one of my classes that happened. I was actually visiting a group of Dominican students in training in St. Louis, and went to one of their classes. And so their professor was talking about this. So the passage is from Romans 7. I'll get you the actual verses when I pull up my Bible. And on first read through, you'll probably be pretty confused, because I was, because you're like, wait, is Paul saying the law is good? Is he saying the law is bad? I don't really know. And then, well, we'll get there. All right, for those of you who want to follow along, we're in Romans 7, verse 7. I am using this Bible, which if you don't have one, highly recommend it. Very good, lots of footnotes. So it's RSV translation, so if you have a different translation, don't freak out. That's what I'm saying. All right, so starting in verse 7, we're going to be going 7 through 12. So just, listen to it on your own, see what sense you can make from it. What then shall we say, that the law is sin? By no means. Yet if it had not been for the law, I should not have known sin. I should not have known what it is to covet if the law had not said, you shall not covet. But sin, finding opportunity in the commandment, wrought in me all kinds of covetousness. Apart from the law, sin lies dead. I was once alive apart from the law. But when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. Then the very commandment which promised life proved to be death to me. For sin, finding opportunity in the commandment, deceived me, and by it killed me. So the law is holy, and the commandment is holy and just and good. So you're probably a little confused, because he's saying, okay, when we have the law, it says don't covet, therefore we desire coveting. But then he talks about how the commandment that was supposed to be life became death. What's going on? So the professor posed a question to everybody. He said, who is Paul speaking as? We know he can't be speaking as himself because from other parts of the Bible, we know that Paul was blameless according to the law. So Paul's not speaking as himself. Is he speaking on behalf of another? Is he speaking on behalf of humanity? Because it sort of seems like he's talking like in general, this is what's going on. And the professor's like, you don't have to believe this, but I think he's speaking both as an individual and as humanity. And there's only two people who can do that, Jesus and Adam. And Jesus didn't sin, so he's not speaking as Jesus. So Adam, not just sinning in himself, but sinning on behalf of the whole human race. So Adam representing all of humanity. So now he's like, let's read the same passage again, but as Adam. What then shall we say, that the law is sin? By no means. Yet if it had not been for the law, I should not have known sin. I should not have known what it is to covet if the law had not said, you shall not covet. But sin, finding opportunity in the commandment, wrought in me all kinds of covetousness. Apart from the law, sin lies dead. I was once alive apart from the law, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. The very commandment which promised life proved to be death to me. For sin, finding opportunity in the commandment, deceived me, and by it killed me. So the law is holy, and the commandment is holy and just and good. Isn't that cool? How much it makes way more sense. And so the whole Bible is like that. There are passages that I don't know, or even like the church overall, we haven't unpacked it fully because there's so much there. I think that we really understand, male and female, he created them from Genesis because of Pope John Paul II's work on theology of the body, really unpacking that. And there's so much meaning hidden there, hidden in other parts that just we haven't worked on it yet. There's just so much. So happy Bible reading. I definitely encourage getting one where you're going to be like this one has footnotes where you can see, oh, this is what that means. This is how that connects, because you'll start reading it on such a deeper level and you'll appreciate it even more, because the whole point is to fall more and more in love with Jesus. There's a really great book called Theology and Sanity. And he even prefaces it. He's like, we're not saved by what we know. We're saved by who we love. But the more you know, the more you love. And so the whole book of that book is about knowing more so that we can love more. So love more and be a hero today.